Welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, the entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Robbie, and today we're going to be discussing the 2002 drama 25th Hour, Spike Lee joint, written by David Benioff, starring Ed Norton, Philip Seymour Hoffman, the young king, Barry Pepper, Rosario Dawson, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, Tony Saragusa, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and rest in peace, Patrice O'Neill. Alongside me is one of the co-hosts, Cousin Benny. How you doing?
Damn it. That was what I was Isaiah
Well, I
Whitlock,
noticed
my man.
last time I came to your house, the sofa I sat on was a little it wasn't that comfortable. So let me know what you're hiding in. Let me know what you're hiding.
It must be the padding.
Yeah, I think it is. And alongside us is another one of our co-hosts, our good friend Ryan. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Robbie?
Good. How excited were you when Ed Norton shit on the Italians from Bensonhurst?
Ah, what a dream that was. Bensonhurst. Bensonhurst. My favorite part of that whole scene was that one guy had the Bugs Bunny sweater.
That's a good look. That's coming back.
Classic.
Is it? I would love that if those like Looney Tunes and like cartoon like jackets with the leather sleeves, if those came back, I would be so happy.
Yeah, streetwear. It's back.
Nice. You are Robbie as our resident fashion guru. You are at the forefront of what's coming, so I'll take your word as gospel here.
Thank you. I don't know what's coming, but I'll
It's
figure it
definitely
out soon.
it's definitely cartoons on clothing.
Yeah, it's Babs Bunny fucking on a blanket.
So yeah, anyway, this is Let the Boys Watch. And like Robbie said, this week we watched 25th Hour. It was Barry Pepper week, or it is Barry Pepper week. So we had 25th Hour, True Grit, and what was the other one?
Enemy of the state.
Enemy of the State in the votes. We couldn't fit all of his movies into the voting, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that we watched 25th Hour. Maybe one of his best performances. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. I mean, he was great in Saving Private Ryan, but definitely a good performance here. And like Robbie said, stars a bunch of great people. Spike Lee directed. Not a huge fan of David Benioff, but apparently this novel and script are highly regarded. And really quick, I was cursing his name, but I feel like him and Weiss don't get more hate than they should, and Martin should get more hate for how Thrones ended. I don't know. I just feel like everyone shits on them, but no one gives a fuck that Martin didn't finish the books.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always say that, they didn't sign up to finish the story for him.
Right.
They they had an idea of where it was ending. That's why they were the ones that got the gig. But he by the time they finished the first season, he was done with the fifth book. So he had all this time, going on 10 years to finish two more books, and he never did. And yeah, they knew in broad strokes how it ended, but it wasn't their job to finish the story for him. But I do, I will give them shit for not handing it off at some point if they
Yeah.
didn't want to be involved anymore. And that's
Correct.
ultimately how I felt towards the end of Game of Thrones, is that they didn't want to do it anymore. They were getting, they got that Star Wars trilogy that ended up getting pulled away from them because of how bad Game of Thrones ended. But I think that they had their eye on other projects and they just wanted to rush to the end of Thrones. And I think ultimately that's where they do get some blame from me.
Agree. And as usual, our conversation turns to Game of Thrones. Um,
So I do want to mention something real quick, and I
yeah,
and I think
please.
it we can get a couple more people involved here. Is we had a tie this week,
Yep.
25th Hour and True Grit tied, and the three of us ended up being the tiebreakers. But maybe we need a little let the boys watch Supreme Court. If we ever get a tie, we could throw it to our council.
Oh,
and they
that's
can
I
make
love that idea.
they can make the decision for us. So something to keep an eye on in the future.
If you want to be a chief justice of the Let the Boys Watch court, please let us know. The vetting process is not very strong. um,
How can they reach out to us, Ryan?
uh, Great question, Benny. They can send us an email at ltbwpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram, Let the Boys Watch Pod. That's where all our cool posts and stories are. But yeah, send us a message there or send us an email again, let ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. It's in the show notes. Just click on it and your email client will come up and you can just start typing with your fingers. It's very easy. Um, but yeah, so now we, like you said, Benny, we were the tiebreakers and we settled on 25th hour, but has any of you not seen 25th hour?
I haven't.
You haven't. Robbie, you saw it previously, right?
I have.
Okay, and I also have, but I saw it. I mean, I only saw it once years ago, so I didn't remember a lot of it. So it was like almost kind of new to me. But Benny, like going into this, since you never saw it, did you have any idea of what it was about, or had you ever heard anything about it at all?
I've heard nothing about this movie, and I had no idea what I was getting into. The only thing that excited me was it was Ed Norton, and it was Spike Lee. And we mentioned before the pot started, I don't think I've seen a Spike Lee movie, but I know obviously he's highly regarded. Um, you know, I found out through some DMs that we got on the Instagram that Philip Seymour Hoffman was involved. Obviously, we knew Barry Pep was involved, so I had high expectations knowing all that.
Nice. And Robbie, how long ago did you see it?
Probably 10 years ago. I think it's been a long time, but um, I've watched it multiple times when it came out and probably up until what, 2012, 2013. So I didn't know, well, I knew what to expect, but I didn't know if I was going to like it as much as I did back when I first watched it. But I'll get into that later on.
Nice. Yeah, like I said before, I saw it around when it came out. And that was it. I may have seen like pieces of it since, but it was I remembered very little of it, so it was definitely like almost like a first watch for me. Um, but I kind of like knew how it ended and stuff like that, so it wasn't like completely full. But um, I don't know. Robbie, do you want to start with the overall impressions of this movie? I mean, I would say you're probably the most experienced with it, compared to both of us.
Do you have an text message you wanted to read?
Oh, well, it's criticizing someone here about Oppenheimer. Do we want to talk about that, or should we talk
Yeah,
about
let's
that
do
at
it.
the end?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, this text message comes from someone near and dear to you, Robbie. I don't know if you want to take a wild guess on who it is.
My mom.
The bill.
No, no, your mom and I don't text anymore.
Oh,
Um, it was the bill. It was B. And he said, I just heard Benny gave Oppenheimer a 10. I want to temper your expectations a little. I gave it an 8.1. Felt every bit of 3 hours. Shocked he called it his favorite movie, but then again, he hasn't seen a lot.
True.
Dark
Wow.
Knight, Inception, Dunkirk, all better in my opinion.
did I get the
So
same text message?
Is that
I
the
don't
end?
I don't know. I was, to be fair, Robbie, don't be upset.
No,
It
no,
was I was talking to him about something else as well.
no. Hold. I'm sorry.
He may have texted you that too.
Let me see. Oh, sorry. No, keep on.
So while
I
you're
just heard.
looking, go ahead.
I just heard Benny gave Oppenheimer a 10, maybe an 8.1 in my book. It was long and felt long, far from Nolan's best.
Wow.
All
Ouch.
right. Hey, listen, I mean, to each their own.
Exactly.
This is a man who takes multiple hours to unload the dishwasher. So, I would think that this is a walk in the park for him. No, but I fully think that the fact that we saw it, I don't know if he saw it in IMAX or not,
He
but
did not.
I
No, he
fully
sort of
feel
did.
like I put the Babylon Theater.
Yeah, like the Save Lynn.
I honestly feel like that had something to do with it for me. Like it was just that immersive screen and like I don't know. I really enjoyed the acting performances from everybody. I
Hmm.
haven't seen Dunkirk. I've seen Inception. I've seen Dark Knight, obviously. But to me, I don't know. I was just I don't know Brian's, if Brian was like a history fan or, if that's not necessarily his thing. But to me, it was super interesting. It was I don't know, to me that it didn't feel like 3 hours. The dialogue was fast. Everything was very well paced, I felt like. And it kept you engaged the whole time. I don't you guys haven't seen it yet, but I felt like it bounced around chronologically a little bit, and I enjoyed that. I thought the way they did it, things never got stale for me. um it's interesting. I mean, 8.1 is still a good score. I
Yeah,
don't think he doesn't
still
like the
good.
movie. But to me, I just it hit the things that I wanted it to hit, and it resonated for me.
Do you still think it's a 10 today, or has it gone down a little, or what?
No, I do. I just thought like it was one of those things where I feel like it it took advantage of all the technology and everything that we have to offer in a movie in 2023. And I feel like it's gonna, in a time where we've gotten so obsessed with like comic book movies and superheroes and all that kind of stuff, I feel like this is a movie that's going to change the direction of like the next few years of Hollywood, because it showed that these stories, even based on true people, are gripping, and they made it that way. And just the way it was shot, all the cinematography was great, and to me it was just super entertaining.
That's fair. Robbie, we still got to go on a movie date.
I know. Let's do it. I haven't been to a movie theater in like 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I
They've
haven't been,
changed a
I've been there
lot.
since, I know I've been there. Last time I was there, they had the regular seats, nothing exciting. So,
No, you're reclining and everything these days.
all right, we could snooze every time that Robert Downey Jr. gets on the screen.
What?
Well, you don't
Yeah.
like our
No,
no?
I hate his guts.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. I don't like him. He annoys me. His interviews annoy me. Everything about him annoys me.
All right, that's fair.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow. Lucky
again,
we need
you're
to
allowed
move
to have
on
your
at
own
some point.
opinion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um.
I
So
feel an RJD or DJ we coming at some point soon. What were you gonna say, Rob?
well, I'm gonna pull a Machiavelli and fake my own death that week. So I was gonna say, what's the tension meter here between you and Brian the next time you see him? What's up? Give
Oh
me a
no.
tension.
I mean, for the pod, it's 11.3 tench. In real life, it's a zero. I love
Oh, okay.
Brian. I think he's funny as hell. I think I love his opinions. I love the emails he writes us. Um, Great guy. But for the pod, go
Fuck
Yeah.
fuck
you.
yourself.
Yeah.
You cocksucker.
Who the fuck is this guy? Go fuck yourself, Bensonhurst.
Bash your fucking skull in.
Um, wow. All right. Good Tange. So overall impressions. Did you want to start, Robbie, or do you want to have one of us go?
Sure, I'll start. We're not gonna give up plums right now, right? So I'd
No,
rather have
overall impressions, and we'll do plums, and then we'll get into it.
um so my overall impressions, like I said in the beginning, I thought I was worried when I watched this movie again that I wasn't gonna like it. And I loved it more than the last time I watched it. The acting was fantastic, phenomenal. Probably my favorite Ed Norton performance. Obviously, my favorite Barry Pepper performance, Rosario Dawson. I mean, besides being an absolute fucking a dime piece, she delivered. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I love when he plays like just an awkward character. He was great in this movie. Anna Paquin, we'll move on. Brian Cox, like, just showing up. I loved it, seeing him as the fucking, you know, the loving father. Um, and who else? Isaiah Whitlock, But
Shit.
everything about that, everything about it, the directing was great by Spike. Sharp dialogue, uh, the cinematography was great. I love the score. I think it's Rodrigo Pietro. He shoots now with Scorsese. He did Wolf of Wall Street. He's doing Killers of the Flower Moon. I think he did Barbie too. I'm not sure, but
I think he's worked with Spike Lee a lot too.
yeah. I, for me, and I've seen a bunch of Spike Lee movies. I think this is my favorite Spike Lee movie. I think it's better than Do the Right Thing, even though Do the Right Thing is fantastic as well. But I love this movie so much. Everything about it was great. You get those, 9/11 vibes, still shot at a time, came out at a time when we were still like the country was still reeling from 9/11. It showed like, you know, preliminary shot, obviously in New York City. So you saw that. You saw the raw emotion in the film. Um, yeah, man. I don't know. Spike just got great performances out of everybody. I just thought that, and like I said, like I know we shit on Benioff, but I thought the dialogue was just like I said, so sharp and pleasantly surprised watching it again. It flew by. I didn't check my phone once. 2 hours and 10 minutes didn't feel like anything. So yeah, I was excited to watch it again, and it just again, my love for this movie, I'm thankful that this won because I love this movie.
Have you seen Black Klansman?
I did. I thought it was okay. I gave it like a 7.5 plums, I think. It was all right. But I do
Okay.
love John David Washington. I think it's a great movie.
You know what's crazy? I think I read somewhere that they started shooting this movie before 9/11,
Yeah.
and like they ended up incorporating 9/11 into it whenever they picked back up. So it's definitely interesting. But Ryan, I'll let you go on your impressions.
Yeah, I mean, I think I loved it probably less than you guys. But everything you said is I don't disagree with it. The direction, the cinematography, the score, the acting, especially, was so good. The incorporation of New York post 9/11 and that, like, I guess for lack of a better way to describe it, but community feeling that I think a lot of New Yorkers would not be able to describe, but you kind of just felt was woven through the movie. Even some of the parts that I think some people like Ed Norton's rant that take it as um I don't know, like a racist rant, I guess. I think when you look at this movie as a whole, it's not about division, it's about like coming together. Um, but to be honest, I felt that the story was a little slow and I found myself being like, all right, like let's go. I still liked it. I still very much liked it, but I don't think I loved it as much as Robbie. I don't know how Benny felt about it, but and I totally understand why Robbie loves it. It's a great movie, but for me, it just was a little slow. That's my biggest complaint. But I totally understand why someone would love it. Um, I didn't. Um, that's my thoughts.
So for me, this is a movie, and I think we're going to run into a lot of these as we start expanding from like blockbusters and classic movies where not that you need to have a PhD in filmmaking to really love this movie, but there's a lot of complex stuff cinematically that Spike Lee does, and I think it's just because he's such a great director. But for me, as like a movie idiot, like a lot of stuff didn't click for me until after the movie, and I like read some stuff about it, like just the whole tension of how he wove in things are never going to be the same for these three guys and things are never going to be the same for New York after 9/11 is like a major theme of the movie. And while like I feel like while some things weren't resolved, like Philip Seymour Hoffman obviously has that kiss with the girl, and then like it seems like it's this big moment and then nothing comes of it by the end of the movie. To me, like that kind of bothered me. But I, like you guys said, the acting fantastic, the cinematography incredible, the direction incredible. Unlike you guys, I didn't love the score. I get, even after the fact of the whole 9/11 undertones of the movie, like I felt like there was too much music at times. Like there was either the volume was too much for the scene, or it's just like it was two people talking. I didn't need like, this is probably going to sound racist, but like that Arabic music underneath it. Like to me, it was just like, why are we going so heavy on this? Um, but again, I like the story. The movie was telling you something without telling you it. And while the story, there was a story, there wasn't like this big payoff ever in the movie. And again, I just think that that's me being the type of person that doesn't really understand complex cinema and complex films right away. And I think that hurt it for me a little bit. But there's so much other stuff around that. I'm never going to say this is a bad movie. I'm never going to say I didn't like it, because I enjoyed the time I spent watching this movie, and I enjoyed the things that I was still able to pick up on. And to me, that still made it a good movie. But I just thought that there was some stuff probably going on that I didn't appreciate, and that's on me. But you know, I feel like I'm like going on a huge rant here, but it's movies and cinema is art, and there's just some art that you either don't understand enough about to fully get it, or it just doesn't hit for you. And I feel like this was one of those things for me where like I don't understand enough about making movies and telling stories, that a little bit of this movie was like wasted on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be the case for me too. I feel like there was a period of my life, like in my early 20s, where I loved like artsy movies and really like movies that made you think and maybe didn't have resolutions, but it was like open to interpretation and stuff like that. And I feel like now, I don't know if it's my life now or what, but I find those movies to be a little boring sometimes. And I'm just like, all right, like I get it. I understand that this is beautiful, but while watching it, I'm like, I'm more interested, I guess, in like a more engaging story. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, Robbie, what
And
do you?
I
Go ahead.
think the the Philip Seymour Hoffman stuff, I understand that, like, that was awkward and strange, and somebody that's fighting with whatever weird urges he has in this movie. But also, besides your racist rant about the Arabic music, we'll edit that out. I think it was a movie that just took place in a day, right?
Yeah,
So, he's walking back the dog. So it's where it would be tough to, I guess, come to that culmination of what happens that day when he goes to school. I get it, and I understand where you're coming from. So part of me understands, like, if you're not going to come to a culmination between them and how awkward it's going to be, then why put that in? But I also feel like it's a movie, but also it's part of life in a sense, I guess. Whereas you're not going to get that happy, not happy ending between them, because God forbid, God knows what's going to happen. But
you're not going to get that answer. But and to your point, it's a movie about 24 hours. Like whatever happens in these 24 hours, that's the story. You're not getting anything past that. Like that's, I understand what you're saying, but to me, just I was like, there was
yeah,
so much buildup and so much tension there that I don't want to say they, did the sexual tension between an older man and a 16-year-old girl well, but the tension was conveyed so well that you get a little bit of like the resolution to it, but then you don't, like, obviously there's so much stuff that could come of that. Yeah, it's just, in a way you're like, well, what the fuck, man? Like they spent so much time talking about that and the negative effect that it can have on his life, and he does end up acting on it, and then you just don't get anything. But I definitely understand what you're saying.
Right. And
well,
then
first off,
there's,
she's
oh, go ahead, Rob.
17.
Was she?
What? No, I'm kidding. But I understand. But I totally understand where you're coming from. I get your point.
And there's how many movies have there been that allegedly take place in one day, and it's like all this crazy shit happens. You're like, come on, there's no way all that stuff happened in one day. Stop it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. We're just being armchair quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know what the term would be for, or at least I am being that. What's a good armchair director? I don't know.
No, armchair quarterback's good.
Yeah. Just like, you know,
Get
try
the gist.
like but that I understand like the point of this show is to just talk about the movies and like criticize where we don't like and laud when we do and whatever. Um, but at the same time, I often find myself like maybe after the show or listening back, and I'm just like listen to fucking me criticizing someone for creating this piece of art, and all I didn't do shit. All I did was talk about it. Like, so sometimes I feel wrong, but then I'm like, well, I'm not also gonna lie about how I felt while I was watching the movie. So it's I don't know. Sometimes I'm conflicted within myself about how to react to movies or any piece of art, I guess.
Well, Robbie, let me know if you feel the same way because we're kind of both in the same boat as not seeing a lot of these movies. I mean, the past few you've seen and I haven't, but for the most part, it's based off of me and you. Like I'm not going into this thinking I'm a film critic. Like this is me watching movies and my reaction. Like am I gonna criticize some things? Yeah, but I don't know shit. And like that's not the point of this. Like none of us have degrees in filmmaking. None of us are saying that we could do it better. I think it's just us like an uneducated reaction and just just a conversation of our hottest takes, not hot takes. It's just we just watched it. Now you're getting like an quote unquote instant reaction of three idiots that don't take movies that seriously but enjoy them.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I don't think it's something where I'm like, oh well, Scorsese shot that at a different angle. I don't know why Spike didn't shoot that at the same angle to get his point across. It's just me being like, man, fucking Tiny Lester, you suck at acting, and I don't like it. Can I do better? Can I do better? No, I can't.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's my opinion, right? Like, what's her name? I forgot her name because she sucks so bad and Almost Famous. Same thing. I'm done with you. I don't want to see you at any movies ever again.
Kate
But
Hudson.
Kate Hudson. But yeah, I'm not going into it where I think that I can do any of it better than these people because I can't. But like you said, it's just opinions that we have from movies, basing it off of other movies that we saw that we love. So that's really it. And I totally agree with you. There's like again, there's no way that I'm saying that I graduated from, NYU or, USC film school. But I don't know. I pay my taxes. I think we have opinions. So if we don't like something, we don't like something.
It's the First Amendment, babe. No, but
Yeah,
like
please.
I think as this goes on, like I do want to gain a little bit more understanding of filmmaking and like how stories are told. And maybe in a year or two, and if I go back and watch this movie, I appreciate it more, and there was more things that I pick up on. But I did end up like reading and listening to a few things about this movie, and it made me appreciate it more because there's a lot going on.
Also, like what you say to that, there's so many podcasts that I listen to about film and movies, and they break it down so well. And every time I listen, I'm like, fuck, man, why can't I talk like that or break that down or get that opinion? And I'm like, the only thing I'm fucking talking about is recasting Matt Damon as somebody's arm, right? And these guys are breaking down like lighting and movies and why this dialogue is here. Like, and I'm like, all right, but you know, I like you said, Benny, the more we watch, the more we grow. Yeah, I would like to, have a eclectic take on things and really
Yeah.
pinpoint what's going on in these films.
But the thing that I like about us is the fact that it's three idiots that don't know what they're you know what I mean? Like you're it's like we're more quote unquote accessible. Like, if you can listen and get involved in the conversation and not feel like we're preaching to you what this movie was about. It's just three idiots that watched a movie at the same time, and now we're talking about it.
Yep.
And text each other how good looking Rosario Dawson is.
Exactly.
um. So yeah, good. No, good combo. But should we get to some plum scales?
Let's do it.
All right. Who does anyone want to start?
I reserve the right to change my score, so I want to hear you two guys go first.
Oh, okay.
Want me to go
Um,
first, Ryan?
yeah, sure. I mean, I
No, you
have
go first. No, fucking no, 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 no. No, you go
you want to
first,
go
please.
first? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to hear your score. Oh, your score
No,
first.
you said you wanted to go first.
Yeah, but I redacted like my last name.
Bensonhurst. Um, so like I said in my overall impressions, like I really like a lot of things about this movie. Um, I mean, again, the acting, the cinematography, direction, the the feel of this movie. But the story to me, I felt a little bored while I was watching it. So for me, I gave it a 7.2. Um, I still think a very good score, but I don't care if I ever watch it again, or at least for another several years. But I totally understand if Robbie or Benny's score is much higher than mine. And Kenny, if you're listening, send us an email.
Please. You want to go,
Um,
Rob?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I talked, I think, at length about the reasons why I love this movie, but I forgot to mention what I personally think this movie's about. And like I think this movie's about obviously regret, the consequence of somebody's actions and how that affects everybody around them. I think it's a movie about grief, right? We have the 9/11 stuff in the backdrop of the movie, but you also have, Monty coming to grips with what he did and his consequences and the grief that he's facing. And also, I feel like it's a movie about basically like fear of one's future, right? And we'll talk about the scenes, later on in this podcast. But Monty's doesn't know what's going to happen. He's scared to go to prison. He's scared to, potentially get his ass kicked or raped or anything like that. And um, Jacob, Phil Seymour Hoffman, and Barry Pepper, the fear of their future. Like Benny, we don't know what's going to happen to Jacob, right? When he goes to
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barry Pepper, his character, the fear of the future for him as well, not potentially ever seeing Monty again. And I feel like everybody has to come to grips with that future, especially like Naturel and what's going to happen with that relationship. Going away for 7 years is a long time, but you know, that's why I love this movie. Like I say, I'm a big dialogue guy, big acting guy. The chemistry between everybody in this movie was top notch. You felt like they were all friends. Such little scenes between different characters were just, the chemistry between each character is great and it really livened up the scenes for me. I was struggling with my plum rating, but I woke up feeling good about it, and I'm gonna give this a 9.3 for my plums.
I like it.
It's a
Yeah.
movie. Sorry, Ben.
No, go ahead.
No, like I said, this is a movie that I can constantly rewatch over and over again. So
And I agree with you. I think there's a lot to it that's just not said in this movie, and that's where I'm gonna stay with my score. But I appreciate your score, and I think that there's, like I said, to the things that are not said in this movie, it's how much Monty means to all these people, like Natural, like do Frank and Jacob, are they even going to see each other in the next 7 years? Like Monty's like the glue that's holding a lot of these things together, and he helped out Natural, probably lifted her up and gave her a good life, and even that crackhead that comes up to Monty in the beginning of the movie, like fiending for, if Monty's moving like kilos, like why is this, like he's still dealing to this one guy? And then someone pointed out that he ends up, when he's in the park, before he meets Natural, like a guy in the suit comes up to him and he sells to him, like that's that guy.
Yeah.
So Monty, like he's always trying to help a lot of people out, and maybe he's not doing it by the best means even to them. Like you see what happens to this guy because of the way Monty's helping him out, but it's just interesting. And it does kind of make the Philip Seymour Hoffman thing hit a little bit better now that you said, like, a lot of these people don't know what their future holds, and that's just another uh point of that story is now he doesn't know what his future holds at the end of this movie. So I agree with you there. But as far as my score goes, I went with an 8. I think it's like a super solid film, and I enjoyed it. I honestly probably enjoyed reading about it and finding out some things more after, and it kind of made me want to go a little bit higher after, but that was where I landed as soon as it finished, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with an 8.
And I think the reason why I like this movie so much is because of, I feel like how it deals with obviously real life situations, right? Like the consequences of all our actions, anything that, in our day to day life, or things that we wish that we could have done better in our life and live with that regret, right? So, you see Brian Cox's, as Monty's dad, the regret that he has, for getting into debt with the bar and thinking that it's his fault that Monty turned out that way. Or, Frank thinking that he didn't stop, Monty from doing this. And then, Monty could have been, I don't know, maybe a basketball player on a scholarship, right? But he started dealing, or he could have been a lawyer, but he went to dealing. So that's the point that I love so much about this movie, is just the basic consequences of everybody's actions and the stages of grief and other, emotions that people go through on a day to day, on a daily life, in a daily life.
I honestly think by the time we're finished talking about this, I'm going to regret my score, because I feel like it's a movie that really rewards you if you pay attention to it the whole time and you think about it, and you think about some of the things that you mentioned, and like all the stuff that's going on underneath the story. Like the story is what it is. It's 24 hours before Monty goes to prison, but there's all this other stuff that the movie is giving you. It's just not saying it. These are all the things you can pick up from these people's relationships by just watching the movie and not looking down at your phone, like actually paying attention to what's going on. And you get these flashbacks from what happened for a reason, and it shows you all these different things. And the only criticism I had about the flashbacks in the beginning of the film was that you don't find out what's going on with Monty until, not, I don't want to say it's too late, but I wish I knew a little bit earlier on in the movie why we're getting this story. I feel like we probably waited about 30 minutes before you found out, okay, he's going to jail. But yeah, as far as criticisms go, that's like one of the only ones I have.
Nice. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. It's hard because I like saw it, so I knew what was going on. At what point in the movie do you realize he's going to jail? Is it the flashback of when the DEA comes into his house, or is it prior to that?
I'm pretty sure that's when it is.
Yeah, okay. And then that whole scene of him getting interrogated was great. Does
Yeah.
he always
Yeah.
talk like that with your dick in his mouth?
Yeah.
Oh man. So great. I mean, this was definitely the widest range, I think, of scores that we've had. Maybe there's maybe one other. Maybe Fifth Element was kind of a pretty wide range, but yeah, no, good. Um should we do least or favorite character first?
You can pick, and all I know is I'm not going first on either of them.
I want you to go first. I love when you steal Robbie's pick.
Yeah, but Robbie's got to get a chance to go with his number one pick once in a while.
Robbie, would you like to start first since you rated this the highest?
Sure.
All right, please. Give us your favorite character.
It's a tough one.
It is tough.
Um, I'm Even though I think this is Barry Pepper's best performance I've seen in the movie, I'm gonna just go chalk and go Monty, Ed Norton. I just love Ed Norton in this movie. Like I said, this is my favorite Ed Norton performance of all time. I just love the way he plays this guy. Um, yeah, I like I said, I just love the range of emotions that he goes through this entire movie. And like Ron, you said before, people could think of that rant and be put off by that rant in the bathroom as, racist or a little too much, but it's basically a rant of him blaming everybody but himself. And then he finally at the end
Yeah.
says, "Fuck you, Monty Brogan. You had it all and you fucking threw it away." So he comes to the grips that, hey, I fucked it up. Before
Right.
blaming everybody before that, he finally realizes that he's the one that fucked it up. He had all his opportunities to make his life better, and he chose, the drug life, and he's paying for it now. And again, it's just great acting from him. I think he takes it up a notch in this movie. It's different than American History X and Fight Club and things like that. Like he annoyed me a little bit in Fight Club, but in this movie, I just loved the way he played this character. And like I said, you could see every range of emotion that he was portraying in this movie: happy, sad, upset, regret, grief, fear of the unknown. So everything that he did in this movie, I thought was top notch, and that's why he's my favorite character.
I wonder, this is absolute pure speculation. I have no evidence to think this, but I've read, I think we've all read that Ed Norton is a little difficult to work with. And I think it seems like from what I've read is that he likes to try to bring notes to scenes and almost like rewrite scenes and whatever, improvise and whatever. Maybe this might have been one of his best performances because he had such respect for Spike Lee as a director that he didn't come in being like, all right, you need to change this and do that and this and that. Like, again, 100% speculation, but it's just the thought that popped in my head just now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Benny, would you like to go next or would you like me to go?
I'll let you go.
All right. I also want to pick Barry Pepper, but I think I'm actually going to pick Rosario Dawson as Natural, and not because, like was said earlier, we discussed via text that how attractive she was in this movie. But I loved her performance. And if imagine your partner was going away to jail for 7 years, like how you would feel. And like, I totally understood both sides of Ed Norton and Rosario Dawson, or I should say Monty and Naturals, kind of, I can't think of the word that I want, but how they were acting throughout the movie where she's saying like, I want to talk about this. Let's talk. We haven't talked. Let's hang out. Like, and I would totally, that makes sense. Like, you're not going to see this person except behind glass for the next, I don't know, maybe 5 years with good behavior or whatever. But I see Monty's side is like, I got to do a million fucking things. I got to see a million people. And like, I want to spend time with you, but I can't. I got to go see my dad. I got to see my friends. I got to go see my fucking mobster boss and like all this shit. But I loved her performance in this. I mean, again, Barry Pepper was great. Monty was fucking, Ed Norton was awesome. Brian Cox awesome. Like, so many good performances, but I'm gonna settle on Rosario Dawson for this. So, Benny,
Yeah, and I think too.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're gonna say exactly what I'm saying, but you can say it.
Oh, I was gonna say also from Ed Norton's Monty's point of view with the way he's acting towards her, he doesn't know if she dimed him out. So
also true.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So
that's
like
what you're gonna say, Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. So like a fantasy draft, I'm sitting here furiously clicking my pick because I can't believe this person fell to me. I'm going best available and saying that my favorite character was Barry Pepper as Francis Xavier Slarty. Is that Slarty? That's a hard one to say. Yeah, there's a couple of things in the beginning of the movie with his accent that annoyed me. It like bordered on Boston. Um, and there's a couple words that he said that you needed the New York accent to hit, and he wouldn't hit that, but then he would hit another one. Whatever, that's just acting. Like, you're not going to do a perfect accent. But what I like about Barry Pepper is honestly the only Barry Pepper movie I've ever seen before the last 2 weeks was 61. And 61, Saving Private Ryan, and this movie like really locked it into me. While he's probably not an all-time great, like, he's got a lot of range and he can do a lot of different things, and I really appreciated that about him. Three completely different characters. One good old boy from the South, in Saving Private Ryan, the Roger Maris, that kind of timid guy dealing with a ton of stress in 61, and then just New York stock market scumbag. But then, really, as the movie goes on, you get the real Frank, and there's a lot of emotions that he's dealing with. I think he plays them well. um just a great performance from him. And a couple of things that I saw also said this is probably his best performance. And of the three movies I saw, I'm gonna say I agree. I thought he was fantastic, and just a lot of funny lines from him on top of the wide range of emotion he showed in this movie. So I just thought it was a very complete performance from him.
Yeah,
We good?
there's a number. I mean, there's a number of good Barry Pepper movies. What?
Hey, Frank, we good?
Yeah, we good.
Knock Around Guys is a pretty good movie that I like. I don't know if you guys ever seen that.
No.
He's in
No.
that. A lot of people, because I was looking up stuff online, like looking at Reddit and looking at other things. A lot of people brought up his part in Battlefield Earth, which is widely regarded as one of the worst like biggest bombs, like worst movies. And a lot of people are saying, like, if he didn't do that, he might have been in a lot of other things. I don't know. He seems like he's in a bunch of stuff, but I get
I mean, what I like
saying.
about him so far is, again, basing this on three movies, he's not, when you see Brad Pitt, fantastic actor, but also you could say in every movie he's Brad Pitt, just,
Right.
doing something else. Um, but I really enjoy the fact so far from what I've seen from him, he can do so much, and there's just so much range. And I don't want to say character actor because I don't 100% know if I fully understand what that term means, but the dude can play characters, and I enjoy that. Like, you believe him in the role that he's in, and you know I, not that I didn't like Barry Pepper, but the timidness that you see from him in 61, like, I had an image of who I thought he was as an actor, and the last 2 weeks just kind of blew that up for me, and I really enjoyed it.
It's the pet. That's why.
Yeah.
Pep.
I think a character actor is somebody that's not lead material. I don't know if that's true or not.
He's like a small part, but he pops up and like does a wacky wonky character.
Yeah, that's my definition. I don't know if that's true or not. I just made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Known for playing unusual or interesting characters in supporting roles.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully he's listening.
Who, the Pep?
Hopefully Pep's listening. Come on, talk to us
Please.
about film, cinema.
Talk about how you invented Dr. Pepper. I just assumed you're that good.
Oh, he's from the Pepper family.
That's right.
Yeah.
You ever
Can I
hear
do
Salt? Yeah, he's Pepper.
Can I do an honorary mention?
Please.
Sure, of course.
Got to give it up to my boy Tony Saragusa. I loved him in this
Goose.
movie. I thought he was
Oh,
I thought
good,
he was
right?
awesome. Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought, especially in the beginning, the first scene when it's kind of dark, I'm like, that looks like fucking Tony Saragusa. Like, that's weird. Whatever. And then, when the next scene that he's in and it's daylight, I'm like, is that fucking Tony Saragusa? And I had to like look it up on my phone. And I thought he, again, this could be a Spike Lee thing, doing it until we get it right, and just keep making him do a bunch of takes. But I liked his character in the movie. I didn't think he could have easily did like, again, this could be a lot of ignorance thinking that his accent was good. It was probably really shitty. If you like talk to someone from Ukraine, it was like, no, it's a terrible accent. But to me, it felt real, and it to the point where I was like, is that really Tony Saragusa? And then I had to confirm it. So shouts out to my boy, resting power,
Oh
Tony
my God,
Saragusa.
please. Funny you should say that.
Go ahead.
No, funny you should say that.
You're an
Nice.
English teacher. Explain it to him.
Ah, the goose. He was good, man. He was very good in this movie.
I kind of had the appropriate response to that, if you think about
You did.
You did.
it.
Oh, it's funny that you said that.
All right, least favorite,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
or is there any more Ani mentions?
I mean,
I'll
Brian
get it.
Cox.
I was gonna just say I have another one. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Brian
good.
Cox.
Isaiah Whitlock Jr., obviously,
Of course.
very good. Very, very good. Very funny.
Yeah.
So was this before The Wire?
Yeah.
Slightly. So
this-
in
Was
this
Yeah.
was before The Wire.
Which is crazy. I was like, oh, okay, he's really milking the Wire for all it's worth. But I guess that's just his thing. So good for him.
Well, I looked it
No,
up,
yeah.
and apparently a family member used to do that like numerous times a day. So he kind of just usurped it from him.
I love it. I actually liked his. We talked about the interrogation scene a little bit before, but he was just so good and like so menacing, and he was just great.
I always find that
I believe you are fucked, Mr. Brogan.
like we talked about it with The Departed. Like, oftentimes, to me, the scariest person is the person who holds and knows they hold all the power and is not screaming and yelling, but is just calmly digging through their couch and finding their stash and
Yeah,
whatever, just saying like, all right, fuck you then.
yeah.
Yeah, least favorites. So who just went? That was,
And he goes,
I went, but again, can I defer?
you do
So
whatever
Robbie,
you want, baby. It's your show.
I want Robbie to get his pick in. I want to trade. I'm trading down. So
Wow.
Ryan, you can go second, but I'm trading my pick to Robbie.
For what? Future considerations?
Yeah.
Okay.
future meatball palm.
Oh.
I'm not ready to disclose the terms at this point.
A player to be named later.
Yeah.
Well, my least favorite character is Mary D'Annunzio. She stunk. She stunk. She stunk. She stunk. I know she won an Academy Award and a Pac-Man, but she just really was annoying me throughout the whole entire movie. I don't know what her vibe was or the way she was acting about it, but I just didn't enjoy her performance. And I don't know why. I don't think it was written poorly for her. I just didn't like the way she acted. I have nothing more, nothing less to say. There's just some people that turn me off right away. They come on the screen, and her acting in, her reading whatever she was reading, Shakespeare or Tolstoy or fucking Ibrahimovic. I don't know what she was reading, but it was just, I don't know. I just didn't like it. And like I said, what do I know? I'm just some bozo on the couch playing PGA Tour 2023. So it is what it is.
Oh, I mean, I know what you're saying. She was annoying, but I think she was supposed to be like an annoying 16-year-old.
Yeah. I just think I have a prejudice against her because she was in True Blood, and anytime I was getting ready to watch Entourage, and I would always catch like the last 4 minutes of True Blood, that show annoyed me so much. It just seemed so cheesy and so corny, and I just associate her with that. And it just, every time she's on the screen, I'm like, just get off the screen. I don't want to deal with you.
She annoyed me in this movie. I don't know why.
There.
I think she was, good. Yeah, to Ryan's point, like she was annoying, but
that's the point. As a teenager,
that's the point. But like, Also, fuck True Blood.
I just thought
I
everybody else was
hated
so
that
much
show.
better that I
Yeah,
couldn't pick anybody
yeah.
other than her.
If you're gonna go with like a main roster person, like she's the odd person out.
Yeah.
Or I could have went with actually no. You guys can go because I don't know who you're gonna pick.
Well, I'm gonna pick, even though I love him, Philip Seymour Hoffman, because he
What?
thought it was a great
Wow.
idea to make out with teenagers. That's all.
So it's the character, not the performance.
It's the character, correct. And to be fair, like almost basically what you guys are just saying, like it's kind of difficult to pick a least favorite character in this movie. There's not a lot of choices. Robbie picked Mary. Um, my other option was maybe Uncle Nikolai, I guess, but there's not a lot of it's the main characters are all good, so that's why I went with him, and it hurts my heart because I love him and everything else, but can't
Yeah,
be can't be smooching 16-year-olds guy.
facts.
Second.
Um, but I will give him a shout out because he was so good in the role.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you
no,
just
of
felt
course.
he's so awkward and you feel it, and just the way the tension is between, and that's what I'll give Anna Paquin for. Like like the tension between the two of them was so strong, and they
Palpable.
conveyed it so well. And even the scene in the bathroom right before the kiss, like, and right after the kiss, you didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, was she gonna jump on him? Was she gonna get pissed? And she just walks out, and you get that great shot of, I think that's like one of Spike Lee's kind of signature shots, right? Like the background
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
going behind the still person. So yeah, just shouts out to him. My least favorite character, again, this is you trade your pick in a situation like this because there's this wasn't the year to pick a least favorite
It was a weak
character.
class.
Yeah, so I traded down for a reason. I knew my guy was still going to be available, so I did it. And it's the white cop. Between like, he doesn't say anything, he's just there, he's got that stupid look on his
Yeah,
face.
that
I
smile
don't
is annoying.
Yeah, I don't need you. Get out of here. I like the two cops. Let me give their names, obviously. Agent Flood and Agent Cunningham carried the scene by themselves. I don't need you there. You're extraneous. Get out of my face. And I didn't like your face. So I don't even have a name for him here. Cop number 3. Fuck out of here.
Get out of here. Cop number 3. It's a good pick.
Good choices. Good choices. That I doubt there are, but before we move on, any Ani mentions?
Not for least favorite. This was, like
It's
you
a
said,
tough one.
just
Like you said,
so well
weak
casted.
class.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, sorry to cut you off, but
no, go
like
ahead.
I think, like I mentioned with Tony Saragusa, like I feel like Spike Lee, maybe they just got great performances out of everybody first shot, but like I feel like from what I saw from this movie, like he's not gonna go with a mediocre take. Like I'm sure he's the type of guy that wants the best out of all these people, and to me, just the fact of the performance he got at Tony Saragusa alone shows me how much he cares, because I'm sure he had to do multiple takes with a guy that's not a trained actor. So,
Right. And we've brought it up a number of times with like some serious directors, Spielberg and like others, where it's like, really? Like that was the best take.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
And you almost wonder if they're just like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Who gives a shit? No one's gonna notice.
yeah. Little did they know. Let the
Little did
boys
they
watch was
know.
coming.
Yeah. Coming to criticize you from their fucking basements and second floors.
Yeah,
Um, all right. Should we do favorite scene first?
let's do it.
Who gets to go first? You guys trading again?
I think you
I
get to
will
go
go
first.
first.
Oh,
Or yeah, Ron, you go first.
I go first?
Yeah.
Good, because I'm picking the fucking number one scene right now. And it is 100% the fight under the bridge in the park when it goes silent and you just see the expressions on their faces. Amazing sequence. I loved watching that. I rewound it and watched it again because it was just so good seeing the pain on Pep's face and the reactions of Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ed Norton. I loved what they did with that, with going silent in a movie when you expect it to be chaotic. I love when filmmakers do that. I mean, they shouldn't do it often, but when they do and it's done well, it's so good. So I'm so happy I got to pick first, because that I was like, I wanted to pick that one.
It's such a great pick, and it wasn't even on my short list.
Nice.
Yeah, me
But
either.
you're right. It is a great scene, and I did really enjoy it. I'll go second because I'm sure Robbie's got a couple cock locked and ready to unload on us. But I will steal it. I'm still gonna steal it.
Probably gonna say that right now.
I
100%.
know I'm gonna. It's the conversation between Morty and Frank at the
Jacob.
club.
Morty.
Who's
No,
Morty?
Morty Seinfeld?
Monty. Sorry. Monty and Frank overlooking the dance floor, where you just get that, like I said, that real Frank, and you get that real moment of like Monty being like, no one's going to be there for me. What the fuck am I going to do? Like, everything's going to change after that. And it's essentially the same conversation that Frank had with Jacob. And Frank was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, nothing's ever going to be the same again. And as much as Frank puts on that front, like when he's confronted with Monty, he's doing the same thing. And you felt their friendship. I thought they had good chemistry. I feel like Frank and Jacob didn't have the best chemistry, but I think that's kind of the point, because they're not necessarily like as close. Like, more like Monty's kind of the glue in that group, and like I said earlier, they're probably not going to see each other again. Anyway, ranting. I just thought the scene between Frank and Monty felt real. Frank saying, whatever it's going to take, I'll be there for you. We'll open a bar. Like, I've been there for you since the beginning. I just thought it was a great scene between the two of them. And, it obviously leads to Ryan's scene. Yeah, I love that scene. And I thought the two of them had great chemistry together.
To your point, Benny, why would a 9.9 hang around with a 6.2?
That's true.
Robbie.
Benny,
Did he steal it?
it's one big entire scene that's in the scene, so he's kind of stole, like he always fucking does.
I saw the best part of it, babe.
But my thing with that too is, like, isn't he almost like contradicting himself in that scene, right? Because he goes back,
Yep.
the Twin Tower, overlooking the Ground Zero scene, where he's saying, like, this is never going to be the same again. And then he's telling Monty, like, I'm always going to be here for you, and I'll be there once you get out of prison. So, you see two sides, and which side is real. I like to think the latter, hopefully, as being a good friend and who he really is. So, yeah, I thought that was a great scene. Yeah, my favorite scene is the nightclub scene, the entire 20 plus minutes of that scene. I mean, I know it's a big, long scene, but it's my favorite scene in the entire movie. I mean, once, you got Patrice O'Neal with the fantastic blue light shot. Both of them are just, in blue light. I love the way that was shot. That's when you get Anna Paquin coming on board, checking for DJ Dusk. And then you get Ed Norton just walking right in to Warm It Up Kane by Big Daddy Kane. It's so fucking awesome. I love when there's just great music in a movie. You get them sitting down, having some champagne, Barry Pepper putting the moves onto the hostess, Philip Seymour Hoffman, awkward as ever. I love that about him. They're talking about, when, like, his student, obviously, the goose comes in and Monty's just addicted to him right away. And then they go up, they have the fantastic Grandmaster Flash with white lines. Fucking, I love that dance scene. I thought that was great. The way it was played, Harry rewind it like 5 times. One cipher sound dropped the beat on that, and they started dancing. I just love that. And the Monty and Frank scene, I think Monty, you don't see it, but I think Monty was asking him to kind of find out if Naturel was the one that was snitching on him. And then you get that great scene between Frank and Naturel down at another part of the bar, where they're just like, either like not I feel like they have some grief and they think that, both of them could have stopped it. And then Frank is just getting on that trail for like, no, you loved all this shit. You could have stopped it. You could have did this. You could have did that, kind of blaming one another. And then he throws a couple of racist fucking jabs at her and implies that she snitched on him. And then, that was the last you see of them, I think. And then you get the scene where you find out that the goose ratted on Monty. And, he's going away because he thought that these guys were to be trusted and he trusted Saragusa. But you come to find out that the goose was the one that snitched. And then that was that. And then that scene leads to, I believe, the end where you get to Ryan's favorite scene. So that entire scene is awesome. You get Spike's famous shots. You get Anna Paquin coming out in the slow motion. And I know it's a fucking serious scene of them two making out. But when Philip Seymour Hoffman comes out of the fucking bathroom and his face in the slow motion, I fucking laughed as loud. I mean, it was so funny, but so great. Such a great scene.
I mean, I feel like I have so many things to say about all the things you just said. Like the fact that Philip Seymour Hoffman is gone fucking sucks, man. Like I can only imagine the movies and the things we would have gotten out of him if he, was still around. It sucks. But to your point of I think that is the real Frank in the scene with Monty. Like, I think he, the Frank he shows to Jacob is the performance Frank.
Yeah.
It's the Frank he puts on to the bartender, to all these other people. But when it comes down to just him and Monty and like dealing with that, the reality that's in front of them now, like I really think that he believes that. But I also think there's part of him that does believe what he's telling Jacob, in his apartment, where none of this is ever going to be the same, because and it's going to be not going to be the same for three reasons. He's either going to run and we're never going to see him again. He's going to kill himself and he'll be in a coffin and you'll never see him again. Or even if he goes to prison, like maybe they don't see him while he's in prison. Maybe he changes when he's in prison. Maybe something happens to him when he's in prison and he gets killed. But, it could also be the fact that he comes out of prison and they don't recognize the person that comes out. Maybe they're in a different place. So, there is that part of him. And, I think that's him bargaining with Monty, like being like, no, I'm going to be there. We're going to figure this out when you get out. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are when you get out. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll make it right. I'm not going to let you just, lose everything.
No, it's true. I do believe that was the true him. And I do believe that's the insecure Frank, trying to show Philip Seymour Hoffman's Jacob's character how great he is. And, he's very well endowed. He's got fantastic, he doesn't care that he's dyeing his hair. He's just, the Wall Street bro that, has it all. But deep down, he's still like an insecure kid from Brooklyn that grew up with Monty.
He's got great breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank, Jacob does not.
Yeah. I like that scene between them too. Speaking of their insecurities, but them going at each other in the at the restaurant, and basically like Barry Pepper like completely dressing him down for being a rich kid that's scared to let people know that and all that stuff. Love that scene as well. Any mentions? I have one.
Give it to us.
I mean, the whole narrative that Brian Cox gives us over the kind of fantasy ending type scene where Ed Norton, runs and lives a good life and has children and all that stuff with Nat Trail. I think, the best part is just Brian Cox talking because his voice is fantastic. Yeah. And it's weird that he plays the like, wait, is everyone frozen?
I'm good.
You're
frozen. I'm gonna kill my video real quick.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, all right, you're back.
Playing a loving dad.
Yeah, it's weird to see him like not be an asshole.
Yeah. You kind of expect that he's gonna like turn it on at some point.
I know, right? It's wild.
But I'll let me use some corporate speak here and say that I'll piggyback off of that and say
Oh my god.
I liked the bar scene between the two of them. You know, even
Yeah.
cut out the Ed Norton rant in the bathroom, like just that, it felt real between the two of them. And like, you get the backstory of like what happened to the mom and how he was an alcoholic. And um it was just the chemistry between them was good, and they're just both such great actors that it felt real. But what's funny, not funny, that's it's actually kind of haunting and terrible. When he's going on that rant in the bathroom.
Bathroom.
So I mentioned earlier that they started shooting this movie before 9/11, and I think I don't know if I'm conflating reality to what they're conveying in the movie, but all those guys that he's chanting "Let's go Yankees" with, like, died
Yeah.
in 9/11.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they shot that first, and then like all those guys that they had in on the movie like fucking passed away in 9/11. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's like we mentioned earlier, just this whole thing of 9/11 kind of like being in the background and the uneasiness of it, and how things are just never going to be the same for everybody in the city. So it's just there's a lot, like I said, a lot of stuff going on underneath the surface in this movie.
Yeah.
Wait, the real people that were in there were actual
Yeah.
firefighters that died?
Yep.
That bar scene?
I read
Oh, the
that
Yeah.
too.
chanting?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's
Wild.
crazy.
Fucking wild.
Um, I have an honorable mentions the interrogation scene. I just love the way they went back and forth. I mean, I like when Isaiah Whitlock's talking about, maybe one day you get a prosecutor in a good mood or in a bad mood, and he goes on that little rant. You work with me, but like Benny said, the back and forth between those two, the two detectives, was so great. Even in the when he goes sit down, and the other guy's like, he just says "booyah," and nice little booyah reference from 2002. Yeah, who doesn't love a good booyah reference? But they were so good back and forth. I love a good, cop tandem that can play up with each other and just fucking fuck with somebody.
I
Yeah,
think we should
and
bring back Booyah.
booyah.
Bring it back.
um, to jump on that point as well, Honey Mensch is the raid scene or the search warrant scene. Like that was just, you mentioned the couch cushions, but the tension again in that scene was just great. And like you think for a moment just how calm Monty is when they come in, that like, all right, maybe he doesn't have anything in the apartment, and then just how it slowly, and he knows the whole time exactly where, what he's looking for and where it is. Because I was like, why are they, he's like touching the frame of the
Yeah, he was
photo.
searching weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and like everything's kind of like you expect them to start ripping open drawers, but no, they knew the entire time. And just Isaiah Whitlock's performance just great, and it was just a fantastic scene. I thought that was going to be your scene, Robbie.
No, it's a favorite scene of mine, but it was a nightclub scene. What did you think that he was getting away at the end, or you knew that was like almost like a dream sequence kind of?
I figure with the way that they left it, it's pretty obvious that he goes to jail. I think it would make the whole rest of the movie meaningless
Yeah.
if he runs away, because everything, like you said, about the movie is him facing the consequences, and the things that I mentioned where things are just never going to be the same again. I think for him to run away and have like some happy fantasy ending would have made the movie, it would have made it pointless.
Yeah.
Agree. Can I offer one last Ani Mensch?
Yes.
Is when Monty rescues that good boy Doyle in the
Yeah.
very beginning, the opening scene.
So you want
Yeah,
to hear
it's a good
some?
one.
This bull pit.
Yeah. Shout out to the guy Goose. You want to hear something stupid?
Yes.
I thought because of the name of the movie and like the quick description, like a man's last 24 hours, I thought the movie was because he gets bit on the neck, right?
Yeah.
I thought the movie was gonna be he gets like infected with something, and then he finds out he's only got 24 hours to live. And I thought that was going to be the movie.
Oh man, that's it.
So dumb.
Did you think one last question about thinking about the movie is, did you think that it was Natural that timed him out, or Goose, or someone else? I remember thinking for a short period of time that I was like, I thought it was Pep, like, because how he acted like slightly differently with Jacob and with Monty, and then I thought maybe he had a thing for Natural and this was his way to like get in there or something.
I did. I thought it was going to be her. Just the way that it was kind of mentioned, like early on,
Right.
that it was going to be her. I'm glad it wasn't. And even when they did the reveal that it was the Goose, I still thought in the back of my mind that it might not. Like they were like kind of testing him or trying to see if he ratted them out, and that was part of the test. But I'm glad it wasn't her.
Same.
What did I think of the movie?
She liked it. She gave it a similar score.
No
Nice.
wonder you guys got married.
I was gonna say some things that she said about it, but she was with me on like the score part. Like she didn't necessarily love the score. I kind of want her to write an email after listening to this episode though, and maybe thinking and maybe giving us some thoughts, because I got some takeaways at the end of the episode that I want to give.
Yeah. The Countess of Cinema, please send us an email. Least favorite scene, are there any?
I have one.
Please.
It's not because it's oh, I hate it and it's my least favorite scene. It's just a fight scene because it's just a tough scene between three friends and how they're spending their last minutes together for an extended period of time. I get it. I understand why Monty wanted it to happen. I know he has no ill will. Not that I know personally, but you know that he has no ill will towards that. He personally asks Frank to kick the shit out of him, but you just see the pain in Frank's eyes and that he can't go through with it until, he has to. And it's just a tough scene to watch. And yeah, it's just also it's tough. It's tough with some great friends that, you're never going to see for an extended period of time. And, you don't want to fuck this guy up, but, you get to the point where you have to, even though you don't want to, and then you're so angry, basically, at him that you can't stop almost hitting him until Jacob comes over there. And then, it's just tough, man. Fucking Doyle and Monty. That's tough. That's so fucking tough. He giving up the dog. Obviously, Natural is also giving, like, not seeing her, but it's a tough scene because not that they both saved each other's lives because Monty kind of fucked up his own, but, it's tough giving up things that you love.
Agree. Benny, do you have anything?
I do, and again, it's not like they needed to cut the scene. I thought it was dumb or like a real criticism, but I'll go with the first conversation in Frank's apartment with Jacob and Frank. It felt a little too dramatic at times, like with some of the 9/11 stuff, and like I said, I felt like some of the dialogue felt a little unnatural to me, and like I thought it was a little. I thought, like I said, I mentioned earlier, like the chemistry wasn't perfect between the two of them. But again, I also feel like that was kind of the point where these guys aren't the best of friends. Like Monty's just that link that they both have. But again, not something that made me not like the movie or took points away from it. It was just something that stuck out to me.
Yeah, agree.
I thought that their chemistry was great, but as you keep on saying it, it's almost like if I was to go out with, not like Steve or Anthony, but maybe like somebody else that I don't really know, and we're just waiting for you to come, and to be like,
yeah,
all right, well, so I
yeah.
I get where you come from. It's not like,
but then once I'm there, like the conversation that you two would have would be good.
yeah,
But it's just the fact that that person that like the linking person is not there. It feels a little awkward and everything like that. But
yeah,
again, I that kind of went away. That feeling kind of went away for me in the Chinese restaurant. Like now, I feel like they kind of hit like a better chemistry acting wise, not like friendship, like the characters, the chemistry as actors felt better for me.
What do you think when the Pep was eating the fried rice with his hands?
Oh please, a crime against humanity. I almost had to take him to the Hague.
They should have locked him up for 7 years.
Yeah, for real.
And then he's like throwing everything on the floor like a fucking animal.
Burping, what a
Yeah.
scum.
Yeah.
Hey, who the fuck burps?
Come on, Pep.
Fucking
Yeah, who
nasty
does
bastards.
Unofficial mascot of this podcast.
That's all right.
Burpee Peppa.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't really have any specific scenes. I guess maybe with Jacob making out with his student, like I don't know. Was that really necessary to the story? Like they could have just kept it as tension and it still would have gotten the point across that he's kind of creepy. I don't know. I just there's no point to like and she wasn't actually 16, but it's still just like weird. Like there's no point. There's no reason for that, I guess. And then like we said before, we didn't get the resolution, not that we should have. But it's just kind of like I don't know. Didn't love it.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I mean, you could have left it with just the tension and let your mind answer the question for you instead of making it an obvious question you have at the end is like, well, what comes of that? Because it's a pretty serious thing for it to happen. It's not like, like the question of whatever Frank did in the beginning of the movie with all that money. I'm fine that I don't know that. Okay, yeah, he did make a great move by not selling and not listening to the orders. Like, I don't need that answer. Like, whatever happens with that happens. But because that's such a serious thing, like I really want to know what became of that. So maybe leaving it as tension would have been a little bit, and you let your mind. So I do want to address the fact: is she 16 or is she 17? Because
He's 17.
But that's what he says to make it seem better,
Slightly better.
Yeah, because when he's having the conversation about Randy, he says she's a junior,
right?
And he says that she's 16 or 17, and I don't think he knows, which leads me to believe that he knows she's 16, because if
you're a teacher, you know how old the kid is. Like you see their date of birth all the time.
Oh yeah, okay, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, to me, he says she's 17 in the club, but I think she's 16.
Yeah. Either way, still inappropriate. She could have been a college student. Yeah. She could have been a college student, and you still really shouldn't be making out with your students. It's a power dynamic. It's worse because it's age, and that's illegal. But I mean, whatever. Like they didn't consummate anything, but like it's just the power dynamic is weird, and he's an awkward older dude, and she's an attractive young girl. Like why? The only reason that she would be attracted to him is because of that power dynamic.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. Come on.
And trying to get that A.
Yeah, trying to get that A. That's right. And he's trying to get her A. I think, but I also to go real quick and then we'll move on. But like, I think if they left it when she went to the bathroom, that was directly after she sat on his lap, and he was basically like, you could tell he was thinking, should I follow her up there or not? And that's enough to be like, that guy's creep. Like,
yeah. But then you wouldn't have got that fucking great shot of him coming out of the bathroom.
I would love for that to be the fucking picture tomorrow, but it's a creepy scene.
Oh, you might have to make some changes. What was I going to say? And the other thing too, like I thought it would have been kind of a good place to leave it too, because she has his hat.
Yep.
And that the fact that she has his hat leaves a lot of questions. Like, what is she going to do with that?
And he's the type of dork to write his name in his hat.
yeah, for sure. and like the name of the school and like
Yeah,
his
yeah,
address.
yeah, yeah. Phone number, social. Um, all right. Should we move on?
Let's do it.
I don't know if any of us are really gonna have an answer to this, but are there any ways that you could have made it better? Maybe Benny might have an answer with the music, but yeah, Benny, I don't know. Would that be your answer, or do you have something else?
I would, yeah, maybe the music, but to me, like I said kind of earlier, it would have been maybe letting you know what's going on with Monty a little bit earlier in the movie. I don't think it makes or breaks it at all. You know, there's definitely something to be said about letting that question hang for a little bit. Um, but to me, I kind of like there was a lot of stuff going on, like, and they definitely allude to it because he says, you know, he says to the cracker that I got touched
Yep.
and you know, I'm out of business now and all that kind of stuff. But you know, sometimes I'm stupid and I need it like completely like spelled out for me. So yeah, maybe that, maybe the music, but again, nothing that killed it for me.
Robbie, you got anything?
I don't. I love this movie the way it is, and yeah, I have no tweaks or any hesitations or reservations on anything that needs to be changed. I love it as is.
As they say in the industry, no notes.
Yeah, no
Um,
notes for me.
no notes from Robbie. And I think you might be surprised to think I don't have any suggestions on changes either. I say it every week. I'm too dumb to know how to make things better. But even though you may look at my score at face value and say like, oh, well, he didn't really like this movie. I do like this movie, and I don't think it should be changed. It's a great movie the way it is, but again, it's just not my favorite type of movie. So, but yeah, I think it's great.
I got one more way we can make this movie better.
How would we do that?
Please.
I think you know how.
Would it
Why don't you?
be casting a certain young sex pot with dimples?
You're onto something here. You're onto something.
All right, let's do it. Spin the fucking wheel. Let's play. Put Matt Damon in this movie. Um, Benny, you're so excited, please. And I honestly, I don't want to put any undue pressure on him, but Robbie has been pitching a perfect game with putting Matt Damon. I gotta leave him for last. So Benny, do you want to start off?
I will. And I'll listen. I said earlier, perfect casting, a lot of great people in this movie, but there was one person I did have a problem with, and I'm casting. Give me Matt Damon from The Departed. Put him in as that third cop in this in
Love it.
the interrogation, in the search. What he would have brought to this movie? Oh my god, a young, strong, virile, ripped Boston accent. He's like a Boston transplant and he's on the NYPD or
That's
in the
right.
DEA.
Fuck you, you fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, come on. He could have been that dynamic between the three of them and Monty. Please forget it. It would have This movie would have broke the plum scale. It would have been to the
Would have been
fact that
three plums.
oh my god, talk about a clean sweep at the Oscars. Only Matt Damon could have made this movie better.
Fair. Um, I'm gonna cast a young, strong, muscular, svelte, nice hair, nice coat, Matt Damon as Doyle the dog, and just have Ed Norton putting him around on his leash, and then giving him off to see Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think that would have been a fantastic role for Matt, and it also, would have been nice for Ed Norton's character, for Natural, for the goose in the beginning. Could have been biting him.
You really would have saw his acting chops.
That's right. With just a feral animal. Feral animal. I don't know why I said it like that.
Because I said virile. Maybe you still had that in your head.
Maybe that's probably it. Feral. Robbie, please. I hope I didn't put too much pressure on you.
No, this is gonna be this is gonna be a little bit out of left field. So
I
if you
love
could
it.
If you can bear with me.
Please.
I'm going to cast Matt Damon as a young, strong, lean, mean fighting machine as an uncredited part in this movie, but he's going to play a major part in this movie. So Ed Norton is not going to jail because he sold drugs. He's going to jail because he is a kidnapper. He and to find out what happens, the interrogation scene where they open up the couch to find the drugs. Ta-da! They open up the couch and Matt Damon's in there being kidnapped. But Matt Damon's gonna be Matt Damon is the uncredited kidnapped victim in the 25th hour. And that's where Isaiah Washington Jr. finds him sweating in a fucking sauna type leather couch as he's kidnapped, and out pops a frail, skinny, mini Matt Damon.
Malnutrition.
Bravo.
Bravo. You did it again.
Thank you. I just thought of that this morning.
Nice. Fantastic.
But my Auntie Mensch was Matt Damon as fucking DJ Dusk.
Oh,
Imagine
that'd
that.
be nice.
I liked his
Young.
earlier work a little bit better.
Yeah. But a young, lean Matt Damon, shirt off, spinning the hits. I mean, how much fucking punani was he getting at fucking Club Abyss?
My
I mean, he might have turned down that role because he would have been having to wear the Yankee fitted.
Oh, that's true.
possible.
Yeah.
It's like there was some movie where I think wasn't it Departed where Jack Nicholson was supposed to wear a Sox hat and he refused? Was that the movie?
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck was supposed to wear a Yankee hat in like
In Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and he
Refused.
he refused and wore a Mets hat instead.
Yeah. Because they're just pathetic. Who cares?
Son of a fuck.
They're no threat.
We beat them in the World Series, you cocksucker.
He did.
Were
That
you
is true.
alive then?
For 2 months.
Young.
Best 2 months of my life.
You know?
The best 2 months of my life. Oh my goodness. Anything else that we need to say about this film, guys?
I feel like I'm regretting my score a little bit after talking through it. Like I said, there's a lot going on, and while what the story that they tell, I understand what you're saying, Ryan, and I kind of had a lot of those feelings when the movie ended, where it's like, well, that's it. Like, not a lot happened. There was no like big resolution to everything, but like talking about it. And I mean, look, we've been going on for an hour and a half now, and I still feel like we left some things unsaid. I really feel like I want there to be some dude on YouTube that breaks this movie down like for an hour and a half and really goes through everything. And
It's
I mean,
us,
better.
Benny.
I know, better than us though.
Oh,
Someone
yeah.
that knows what the fuck that they're talking about, and
Yeah.
maybe
That's
somebody
basically
that-
anyone with a camera.
yeah. But on top of that, like it makes me want to watch more Spike Lee movies.
Yeah,
It makes
definitely.
like I really appreciated this movie, especially like with all the depth to it. And I think someone mentioned earlier that he's more known for writing the movies as well. So I'm kind of interested in that because I do like what he did with this. And I think someone said too, like Benioff went back and changed the novel to make it more like the movie, which is kind of beta by Benioff. But I want to throw that out there
I
just
didn't
because
hear
fuck
that.
him.
Fuck him.
Well,
I think he
Benioff.
did.
Yeah, hey, fair. I mean, I had read something that this was very close to the source material, but I didn't read that part. So yeah, that is a pretty beta move, like changing your. I mean, I know he also wrote the screenplay, but still, come on.
I do believe that you're right, Ryan, that they did stick to the source material, but I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I wasn't there. Spike, if you're listening, let us know. Did you stick to the source material? Is David Benioff a dickhead? Let us know.
Can I buy your apartment for less than you have it listed for?
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. That's a nice apartment.
Yeah, it was. We should, like, to your point, Benny, we definitely should do a Spike Lee week very soon. I know Robbie likes a number of his movies. I've seen a couple that are very good. So yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Couple house cleaning things at the end here. Can I throw some out
Before
there?
you do the house cleaning stuff, I just wanted to mention that I don't know if you guys read this, but Steven Spielberg told Tom Sizemore that if he didn't do drugs, he wouldn't kick him off the movie. That's what we're talking about, right?
I
Yeah,
didn't hear
wow.
that.
I didn't. Yeah, crowd. That's crazy.
Yeah, he
I
drug
mean,
tested him out like every day.
wow. I'm surprised that they were both involved in this movie. I didn't even
That's
see.
crazy.
Wow. Jeez. Good for Tom Sizemore, though. I'm sure,
Yeah,
he
good for
lived
him,
out the rest
staying
of
clean.
his. Yeah, he lived out
I
the
go
rest of his
back.
life.
Wow.
Watch this
During that
again. I
time.
didn't see him.
So sorry. Please do your house cleaning.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna make a formal announcement about it at some point soon. But September, we're gonna have a giveaway, $100 iTunes gift card or gift certificate for a movie theater, your choice. We'll give you the rules to that. Next couple of weeks, we got a comedy coming next week, so vote in that poll, and we're gonna close out August strong with Terminators 1 and 2, a double feature. Robbie is making the jerk off motion with his hand. I don't know what that could possibly be about.
Because
Robbie,
he's so
care to fill
excited
us-
for the movie.
Robbie
I'm
doesn't
so
seem-
excited for the movie.
So yeah, man, make sure you're following us, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your emails. Let the boys watch pod on Instagram. We would love to see you there.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't have anything to add. You did it all, Benny.
Good job, Ben.
Good job.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, vote. When we put the polls up, send us an email, send us a message, whatever. We love to hear from you. Thank you for listening. And Robbie, tell him good night.
Good night, Monty. Don't lose your temper until it's time to lose your temper.
Great advice.
Nice. This poll podcast was Doyle's Law.
Benson Hurst.